Sydney Williams, and I'm the author of Fool's Run, a new novel, Disciples of the Serpent, Dark Hours, and a number of others, some dating back quite a while. This is a little program of flash fiction that I used to read at cons, and I haven't in a while, so I thought I would share it here. It's titled Decoherence. A solid knock sounded but didn't seem urgent, just three raps against my front door. I wasn't expecting anyone. I didn't really know many people in my neighborhood. I'd only moved in a few weeks earlier. So who'd be coming to see me after dark? I put my book aside with a bit of trepidation. The local news anchors loved leading the nightly news with some home invasion in one segment of their coverage area or another. I looked out through the blinds onto the narrow porch. Even with the light on, I couldn't make out much. I just got the vague shape of an angular man in a dark suit. Who's there? Sliding the chain in place, I opened the door just a crack, not even stretching the chain to its full length. I'm a 911 operator, he said. What, do you make house calls now? I have the weirdest stories to tell you. I'm not sure why you'd seek me out, I said. Maybe it'll become apparent. Look, I'm sorry it's late and I don't really have time to get into a story. I closed the door, pressed in the lock button, and twisted the shades closed. The door rattled, and he seemed to slap the wood on the other side. It's important that you hear me out. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. He hammered the door again. Bam, bam, bam. If you don't go away, I'm going to have to call the police. He slammed a fist into the door again. I keyed in 911. After what felt like a long pause, the buzz of the dial tone issued again, and then I got 911, how may we help you? The voice was slow and awkwardly deliberate. I hesitated only a second, then said, There's a man at my door trying to get in. Are you at 3674 Irwin Court? Yeah, that's right. Well, you collect weird stories, don't you? Why don't you open the door and let me in? I have the weirdest stories to tell you, the weirdest voices in my head. So, in a bit of shock, I let him in, and he sat down and began to speak. He stooped a bit, and his features and his voice became childlike. Shuck is my only friend. The old man dragged him in by the scruff of the neck one day when he was just a little squirt and tossed him in the corner beside me. He's not the first dog I've had. That was Blue. I love Blue, but he messed on the floor. He had to be punished. The old man didn't do the punishing. He made me do it. He said Blue and I both had to learn. Chuck has been a little better. I knew what the cost would be if he didn't learn, so I made sure he was paper trained quick. He knows now he should only make when he goes into the backyard. We're only allowed to go into the backyard. The fence is electric there. The old man knows we can't get past it. But yeah, Shuck is a fast learner, especially now that he's not a puppy anymore. He's grown big. He's getting bigger, and I think he understands real words. He'll fetch the ball when I throw it, and he'll heel. Pretty soon, we're going to test a new word he's learned. Shuck throat, I'll say. Then we'll go out the front door, and the old man won't have any say anymore. He literally won't have any say. The man's expression changed. It became a little more sophisticated. Since her name is Sherry, when I decided to give her a custom perfume scent, it seemed natural to put the aroma of a wine at the heart of it. It seemed like the perfect gift since I've always had a sensitivity to aromas. She likes fine wine with dinner at times, though not always sherry now. Since wine wasn't a choice on the scent manufacturer's website, I started with grape as a base ingredient. That seemed good enough. Then I shopped for the complementary scents in drop-down menus. For some reason, lilacs have always come to mind when I catch just a whiff of her. Something in her shampoo, I guess. Or maybe it's just something about their unassuming beauty, teased in warm summer breezes in much the way the wind teases her hair when she steps out of her office building to meet for lunch. The city doesn't offer the hints of apple blossoms that a warm country breeze might carry, but I added that choice to the mix. Sometimes when she answers the phone, her accent slips a little. She's tried to put her country heritage behind her, but she forgets. A few vowels drag, and she's a small town girl again. And for a second, you flash to walks on hot summer afternoons along gravel paths, barefoot in cutoffs, laughing. Why not a drop or two of strawberry and magnolia? The city doesn't offer up those aromas much amid its exhaust fumes and garbage blend amalgams of decay. They'll help me make the scent distinct. I put the finished product on her desk, a small box gift wrapped in shiny foil paper and curled ribbons with the little ornate perfume bottle inside. The card is simple. A unique scent crafted with love for you, Dave. I found a spot near her cubicle to watch her discover it when she returned from a meeting. She looked curious at first, then read the card, and a glow crossed her features. She slit the tape at the package edges carefully, peeled back the foil, and then pulled the bottle out and tried a little on her wrist. Her eyes closed and she savored the redolent scent. Perhaps it took her back a moment to the whole hometown, to the old days when she first said she loved me. Perfume makes a much better gift than just a bouquet of flowers, more lasting. The scent will be around long after flowers would have wilted. After a few seconds, my nostrils picked up the essence, even at my safe distance. I'll always be able to know when she's near. Perfect. It's good she doesn't see me now. At lunch, she'll express her thanks. If all goes well, Dave will accept with gratitude, thinking he's stealing the appreciation from some coworker who's been too timid to express true feelings. He's like that. I can read his type, and he knows nothing of the past, her flight to the city, her attempts to leave me behind. And she'll keep wearing the scent, proudly, thinking it's from Dave, while it lets me track her anywhere. An even darker look came to the man's eyes, and his voice changed. You need sharp tools for carving. It helps with the detail. I won't carry on any pretense that I'm talking about a pumpkin. You're too smart for that. You've seen Tales from the Crypt or those stories of revenge. In those tales, you'd have to watch or read until almost the end for the twist, in which it's revealed that the carving involves not a pumpkin but the head of my wife's lover. The Revenge of the Cuckold, it might be called. And the build-up would be all about the pumpkin carving and all the careful, precise cuts. Only in the last frame might it be revealed that the lover's head was the stand-in for the more traditional choice for jack-o'-lantern. The wife might return home to see the lover's ruined face staring at her from the front window, eyes hollowed out, a permanent grin carved into the lips, a candle shoved up into the throat. Quite a story, but not the one on our agenda. I've already done that carving. It's the head of my wife's lover. It's the head of my wife's ex-lover, though, the one before you. I wanted a little practice. But if I put it in the window, she might not come in, and we wouldn't want that. We'll want her here. Please stop struggling. It will do you no good. We'll want her here so that she can watch when your carving begins, so that she can see the detail work even as you scream, and she'll know that after that is finished. After another moment, his voice changed. A feminine voice whispered next. I don't think they got my good side when they snapped the photographs. The cop at the camera didn't have a lot of patience, neither did the detectives. Maybe the photographers from newspapers and magazines will do better. I'm going to be in there someday in life, and look, you wait and see. Won't be just some sob sister write-up. I'm no Bonnie Parker, and small-town girls who just kill their drunkard husbands aren't that rare. Tough times we live in, but this is not all there is to me locked up in this little cell while they try to decide what to do with me. I expect they'll have women come talk to me, ask me what went wrong. They might even get the preacher, but he knows what was haywire twixt me and Harold Walters. They all know. Harold was my second husband. I married my high school sweetheart, Gerald Bailey, right after we left school. He got a job driving a log truck from Hampton Mills. Papa didn't want me to marry him, but I was crazy about Gerald. Then this tramp Wanda Denton came along, and he got sane about me and crazy after her. He came back a few months later, but I'd moved back home, and Papa ran him off when he tried to see me. They got some papers drawn up, and then Papa had the preacher over one Sunday after church. He brought Harold with him all dressed up. 16 years older than me he was, but he needed a wife because his had died of consumption or because she wanted to get away from Harold. Understanding, the preacher said. Good man, upstanding. He couldn't wait to get a hold of me, not at first. Papa and the preacher were serving him up quite a little dish. I was still just 18. He was never tender, but he was satisfied about 2 years until his funds started drying up. I was fool enough to ask for new dresses. Punches made me reconsider. He knew how to put them where they wouldn't be seen. I took it for a while, and then I went to see the preacher, told him I wanted to run, maybe go places like the big magazines wrote about, or like you saw in the movies. He said I couldn't leave a husband that wouldn't be blessed. And he had the ladies of the church give me a good talking to, had them tell me I had responsibilities and that I was expected to stay with my husband. I stayed as long as I could and started smoking like a train. When I couldn't take it no more, that's when I put the rat poison in his coffee. And here I sit. I won't say much today, but come Sunday, that's when they'll take notice of me. When they'll start wanting to take my picture like that trunk murderess Winnie Ruth Judd or somebody. It's Communion Sunday. So they'll be pouring everybody a little taste of the wine. I fixed it up just like Harold's coffee. With that, my strange caller tilted his head downward. I'm sorry. I just needed to talk to someone, and I thought those might be of interest. I have to be going now. But maybe I'll come back some other time and tell you a few more.